Hey guys, welcome back to my beginner series. If you haven't seen my last video that I did on this series, I basically went over prepping the skin, foundation, concealer, and powder. So make sure you watch that first before you watch this video. I have it linked down below for you guys. So as the title states, I'm going to be going over contouring, highlighting, blush, bronzer, highlighting, products, all of that. So this video is pretty much going to be a lengthy one, so go and grab your glass of wine, your gin, whatever the fuck you drink, coffee, tea, go grab yourself a snack or a meal because it's gonna be a long one. Let's sit down and let's have a little chat. So, I have my little notes here, so if I keep looking down then please excuse that. Contouring essentially creates definition. It can make you look skinnier, it gives your face more shape and dimension, and it also looks pretty amazing in photographs as well. Now, there are so many tones and products and creams and powders and this and that, and I'm not going to cover all of them in this video. I know that I'm not going to be able to, but I'm going to try my best. I personally, like with my skin tone, I can get away with a warmer contour, which means I can get away with a more red or a more orange contour, or I can also get away with a more cool contour, which is usually more brown or grey toned. Now, if you're paler than I am, or if you're just like Snow White, like Nikki Tutorials, honey, make sure that when you're picking a contour powder, you're going for a grey tone, because anything that has the slightest amount of warmth to it is gonna make you look orange. Straight out orange. You're gonna have an orange fucking line on your face. That's not cute. We don't want that. So medium to darker skin tones look amazing with a more warmer contour, I find. So like the darker the skin is, the more warm you want to go with your contour, if that makes sense, because it will really kind of brighten up the whole face, I find personally. And also medium to darker skin tones can get away with a more warmer or cooler contour. So cream, liquid, and powder contouring. All three can give you a really natural look. They can just give you a little bit of definition. That means that it's easier to build up gradually, so you don't have like too much of a harsh line. Creams and liquids are best used underneath your powder. And cream and liquid contouring products must be set. I always set them just to make sure they really stay on. So an example of what I love using for cream and liquid contouring, MAC Studio Fix Fluid. This is actually a foundation from MAC. This is in the shade NW50. This is more pink tone, so it has more of a warm undertone to it, which means that it's a warmer contour. If you wanted something more cream based, like this is more of a liquid, then go for the Anastasia brow kit. Fuck my life. For the Anastasia contour kit, I'll have it linked down below for you guys. So just like cream, powder can give you a natural definition, as I said earlier. So if you watched from my last video, I put a face powder on, which means I'm going to be using powder contour products, because powder blends easier over powder. Powder doesn't blend easier over cream. Yeah, and once again, I have some products listed down below for you guys. Now, wherever you're gonna apply a powder product, you want to apply your setting powder, just so that way it blends so much smoother over the top. So, I'm going to, I haven't got my mirror here, I'm just using a viewfinder. Let me get one actually. So I'm gonna pop the powder all over the cheek area, and I'm also gonna dust it just above the temples, because we're going to be blending out product. So my favorite product to use for contouring is by far the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. The reason why is because, oh no, that's the fucking eye palette, whoops. Here it is, okay. So the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, you guys have seen me use this in literally every single tutorial that I've uploaded in the past like 4 months. I love using this brown right here, the middle shade, because it's not too warm, it's not too cool, it's a perfect neutral tone. So I'm going to use the fake NARS Eater brush that I was talking about in my brushes video. I have that link down below as well. It's like $3 on eBay. So make sure you go and check out that video and get yourself one of these. So I'm gonna grab the top of the brush and I'm just gonna dip that a few times into the product until I can see that there is product on the brush. Then you want to tap off any excess. So the way that you know where your cheekbone is if you just feel where your cheekbone is, and you feel where it curves under. Where it curves under, you want to contour along that line to intensify that a little bit more. So mine's right here. I just fucked up my foundation. So I'm going to grab that, and I'm just going to hug that line. But I'm going to very, like, subtly. I'm not going to go too crazy at the moment, just because I want an idea of where I want the product to be. And a lot of people like to do the fish face, like that, and then go in. You can do that, but even when I do that, it doesn't make this bone stand out, so it's not going to be an accurate contour anyway. So I'm just going to keep on blending over that, so I really want this to be seamless. And then you have a contour. So, same thing on the other side, you know the drill. And if you find that you've put a little bit too much product on, grab your powder brush that you use for your powder. You can pop some more powder on it if you like, and then you just go straight over the top and just blend it out. Sorry, I forgot to mention, you can contour your forehead if you want. I like to just use a bronzer, and I'll go into that in a second, just because it gives a little bit of a warmer tone and it doesn't look so flat. Okay, so onto highlighting. Highlighting complements contouring, so where we've contoured, where we've created a shade, we want to add light just on top of that, because that's really going to accentuate the contour and the darkness, and yeah. The 3 ways of highlighting, there's with shimmer, cream, or powder products. Cream products obviously are used under face powder, which is what I do with my concealer. Powder products are best used on top or as like a powder, like a setting powder. And shimmer products are best to use on the high points of the face. So you wouldn't use this to set anywhere. So when you're using a cream or liquid product, you want to use a concealer that is about 2 shades lighter than your skin tone. So you want to apply this under the eyes, center of the forehead, bridge of the nose, cupid's bow, and the chin as well. Now, if you want that to be like all the highlighting that you do, just set it with a translucent powder or a normal powder that you would use on the rest of your face, and it's going to be a very natural highlighted effect. It's not going to be dramatic at all. Now, if you're like me and you like a more dramatic look, then you want to use a powder over the top. Now, I'm going to go into baking in a completely different video, so that's essentially what you would do anyway. If you're going to use powder, essentially you want to take a pressed powder or a powder foundation that gives good coverage. You want to use this in a shade lighter or 2 shades lighter than your actual skin tone, and you want to just apply that basically where you would apply the concealer. So underneath the eyes, center of the face, and underneath here if you really want to. And I'll have some products listed down below as well for that. Now, with shimmer products, every brand under the sun these days have their own shimmer products. Everyone's doing highlighters, everyone's highlighting, everyone's strobing, whatever you want to call it. Essentially, every single company has a highlighter. You wouldn't use it like underneath your eyes or anything, because we have really, really like fine lines under our eyes. And if we put highlight, like a shimmer powder there, it's gonna highlight our fine lines, which isn't cute. And basically the shimmer powder is going to bring these areas forward a little bit more. Now, I do liquid and shimmer products. That's just how I prefer to do it. So because I've already highlighted underneath my eyes with concealer, I'm just gonna leave it at that for today. And I'll go in with some shimmer product in a bit, but I'm gonna do my blush first. So blush and bronzer are just designed to add some color back to your face. And powder, blushes and bronzers are the most popular of the two. So you can get them in creams and even liquids these days, now that I think of it. So you can get them in liquids, creams, and powders, but powders are the most like bought, if that makes sense, because they're just so much easier to use. Now, if you're pale, make sure you use a blush rather than a bronzer, because once again, like I said, a bronzer is usually quite warm because it's meant to give you a bronzed like glow, like a bronzed look. So because that is a little bit warmer, you want to use a blush, because if it's warmer, orange, you get it. Now, some have shimmer, some don't. If you have like texture along your cheeks, like, or like large pores, you wouldn't want to go for a shimmer, just because that's going to emphasize that and make that a lot more prominent, and that's not what you want. So maybe go for a matte blush. And it's very important to start with a small amount at a time and then keep on building up, because you don't want to go all fucking Bozo the Clown, do you, honey? No, you don't. So for blush today, I'm going to use my Desert Rose blush from MAC. I haven't used this in a minute and it's smashed, as you can see. I don't want this to be too dramatic, so I'm going to go for a synthetic brush. Now, synthetic brushes are great for blushes and bronzers if you don't want to go too OD, because so any natural hair brushes are going to pick up a lot of product quite quickly. This isn't, because it is like plastic, it's synthetic. So I'm going to grab some of that blush. And as you can see, a very small amount has been deposited onto my brush. And then I'm just going to take that and then just run that over my cheek. Now, a lot of people like to like smile and then apply it there. I do like to do that, but I like to do that with highlighter, just because I find that it adds a little bit of like a glow from within. And I like to blend that straight over my bronzer. I'm going to bronze my forehead like I said before. I'm going to use MAC Give Me Sun. I'm just going to use like a MAC 128 brush. And I'm just going to run that along the side of my temples. So it's just going to add a little bit of warmth, a little bit of something. As you saw, I just quickly like ran the bronzer over my cheeks as well, just to add a little bit more something. But I'm also gonna run that bronzer just along my jaw, because I don't really like contouring my jaw, because I feel like it's like prominent enough. But if you want to add a little bit of something to your jaw, then you definitely can. I just like to add a little bit of bronzer, and I also like to hit the bronzer just on the chin and the nose as well. So if you personally want a glow that's just gonna give you like a little bit of something, like a glow from within, for example, the Becca powders are absolutely brilliant. Like, they are so amazing. And that's what I'm going to use today as well. Now, if you want something that's going to stand out a lot more, you can just apply a lot of this, or get yourself like a Jeffree Star Skin Frost, which are always freaking sold out. If you don't want to go for Jeffree Star, then the Bobbi Brown highlighting powder is a great one to go for as well. This one is in Bronze Glow. It's such a gorgeous golden highlight. So for today, I'm going to use the Becca one. I'm going to use Champagne Pop, and I'm going to use my Morphe M510 to apply this. So the way that I like to do this is I like to do like 1, 2, and then that's enough. Tap off your excess, and then you just want to apply this to the high points. And just keep on applying as you like. Obviously you don't have to put a lot if you don't want a lot. Sorry, I forgot to mention, I always aim towards the light, just so that way I can see how my highlight, like how intense it's going to look when it's in the sunlight. And I like to add some on the apple of my cheek. So when I smile, you get that gorgeous highlight. Also guys, I forgot to mention, don't do the next step if you have oily skin. Because this powder is so finely milled as well, you can pop some just in the center of the forehead if you want. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it. And this will just give such a natural glow without looking sparkly or anything like that. And I also like to just highlight down the center of my nose as well. And then I'm also going to go over my Cupid's bow. As you can see, it's really just kind of darkened up the contour a little bit. It's really kind of intensified it. So now we have a beautiful sculpted motherfucking base. So guys, that is the end of this little episode, if you will. If you guys have any Holy Grail highlighters and bronzers that you love, let me know, because I'm always on the hunt for a new highlight. Like, as you can tell, I've used this like twice and I'm already like, new one! So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, please remember to rate it a massive thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on my social media links, that's down below for you guys. And yeah, I'll have the rest of the episodes linked down below, and I'll see you all in my next video. Mwah. Bye guys. Hey guys, welcome back. So in today's video, as you can see from the title, I'm going to do like a full face first impression, because I've been sent a bunch of shit from some companies, and at the same time, I've actually bought a lot of stuff as well. So I've had this stuff sitting here for